So I'm here with Mitchell today, and I thought we could take a little trip down memory lane because both of our makeup careers started in the north, and he's going to tell us about the journey from the beginning and what's to come for Made by Mitchell.
Let's get into it.
So Mitchell, my earliest memories of you, because I started at Peaches, it makes me so happy to see how everything's come from there, because there was that crew back in the day of like Peaches, Doll, you. Can you talk me through the early days before the brand came along and what your career looked like then?
First of all, just want to big up Peaches. I love Peaches. I love the Peaches girls. Always have done, always will do. They've just been pioneers in the makeup world, and I feel like we need to always give them their flowers because they really have paved the way for so many of us indie brands that have come up from up north, especially. The northern crew, we really were a crew. I think we still are. Now we're just all founders instead of makeup artists. I started around 10 years ago doing makeup. And my first ever makeup job was in a salon called the Pout Patrol. And that's really where it all started. I was just a little kid. I had a little bit of an interest in makeup, didn't actually have a clue what I was doing. Somehow just picked it up and was all right at it. And basically worked there for maybe 2-3 years I worked there, which is obviously such a long time when you're so young. But now I look back and I'm like, it felt like a blink of an eye. But started working there. Became really busy, really fully booked every single weekend. Fell in love with it. But then I started to prefer to actually teach makeup instead of doing it on clients. So then I really kind of started honing in on doing one-to-one lessons, all these things. It's actually how I met one of my best friends, which is crazy, who's still with me to this day. I started doing the one-to-one lessons and then was posting it onto social media, which again, not really anyone was doing at the time, because I think at the time everyone liked to gatekeep their techniques. Or if you were gonna learn, you were paying to learn. So obviously I'd have the lessons come and then I'd post these lessons onto social media. And that really blew up for me. It got a lot of traction from a lot of people. And really from there, the rest is history. I then started traveling the world teaching masterclasses. I started working with some of the biggest names in the industry, and now just before COVID I started working on my brand Made by Mitchell, and we launched October 2020.
And Mitchell, in the height of, in particular, when social media really gained momentum, because say the days I'm thinking of and that you're referring to, like I remember at Peaches we used to put a Facebook photo album up, so all of these things came along with us, like Instagram. Do you ever remember a particular moment or experience where you realised that things were gaining huge momentum for you and that you were on a bit of a different path?
Yeah, I do, but there's been so many of them, and I'm still I don't like to call myself humble, but I'm very humble in what's happening. So I guess I still maybe haven't had the, oh yeah, I've made it moment, or I don't know if I'll ever have that, to be honest. I don't know if I'll ever be that fulfilled to be able to say that, which I guess is a little bit sad in a way, but that's how I always strive to do bigger and better things. There's been so many moments where I've thought, wow, how is this happening? Again, I've been flown all over the world to work with some of the most incredible people on the planet. I've painted some of my inspirations from when I was younger. So that as a makeup artist is probably the moments for me where I was like, wow, I'm actually getting somewhere now and people are really hearing what I want to say. But then when it comes to Made by Mitchell, we really blew up on TikTok, and I think we really pioneered the way that people shop on TikTok. We've done so many first things on TikTok. We were the first brand to ever do $1 million in 12 hours, which is just insane to think about, especially looking back at how the brand started and where we started. I think for me, launching with Boots was an incredible moment where I felt like my brand had kind of stepped over from being a TikTok brand to being a legacy brand. And I really then thought, okay, we're actually onto something here.
And speaking of that journey, there has been such a huge explosion in interest in Made by Mitchell because of TikTok, because of Boots, all of these partners. Prior to TikTok, what was your day-to-day business model and how did it operate, and then how did it change when TikTok blew up? Could you talk us through that?
I'll be honest, I didn't really have any kind of business model. I didn't even have an office at the time. It was just a room in our warehouse. It was just a room in the warehouse, and I'd go there and I'd film a bit of content and just hope that it would do well. And then obviously fast forward maybe a year and a half when things started to pick up on TikTok. I'll be honest, I still wing it. I still wing it to this day. I am not a seasoned businessman by any means. I was actually speaking about this the other day, but that's just not in me. I'm a creative. So for me to be able to wing it is when the best things come out of those decisions that are made. But I think now it's just, I know that there's a lot more pressure on things going right because we've got a lot more responsibility as a brand, not just as in targets of sales, but also we have a lot of people that depend on Made by Mitchell, whether it's being seen in a campaign or being seen in a shade range, or whether it's being, we've now got way more staff. So even that, a lot of people depend on what Made by Mitchell is. So yeah, there's definitely more structure now, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that we plan everything out and we are so organised, because we're not. We are a very reactive brand, and we have really got here today through being reactive, so I don't really see that changing anytime soon.
For anyone that's never tried the brand before, or anyone that's maybe a little bit intimidated by brighter makeup or glitters or anything like that, can you talk us through why it is a brand that is suitable for everyone? I definitely think it is. Even on my softest makeup days, like the blushes are lovely. Can you talk me through, for someone that might be new to the brand, what you would start with?
Yes, absolutely. Made by Mitchell, made for everyone. That's always been my tagline. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. I don't just mean different skin tones. I mean different skin types. I mean different ages of people, different sexes. It's everyone. Everyone is included at Made by Mitchell. And that is truly the only thing I think about when I create any of my products. That's just how it works for Made by Mitchell. But yeah, there's definitely some products in our line that are probably more catered to a heavier glam. But that doesn't mean, no matter what age you are or whatever the difference might be, it doesn't mean that you can't wear the heavier glam. We have so many products. I know they're not actually the real products, but here, our truth tint. This is actually really popular with our customers that have more mature skin. It also goes along with a product called Bolt Balm. Bolt Balm is one of our best-selling products for our older demographic customer. Again, I think it's one of those things that you see the bright green packaging and you think, wow, this is more so a Gen Z brand. I'm just a bright, colourful person. If I created this brand when I was 70 years old, it would probably still be bright green. This is not an age thing or anything like that. This is just a creative thing, and this is just spilling out who I am onto packaging. But the products they're created from a makeup artist point of view, and I think that's really important to remember. So these products, as a makeup artist, can be used on everyone, which means everyone can actually buy them and use them on themselves. But yeah, I get it. Can be a little bit intimidating sometimes, and probably sometimes you look and think, oh my god, it's hideous, it's green, because green isn't for everyone, but I love it, and that's actually all that matters, because it's my brand. It's a brand that can really be celebrated, and it's so multi-use when we come to formula. So even a formula, for example, our curve case, you can use it on the eyes, the cheeks, the lips. The colour case, it can be used as eyeliner, foundation, concealer, bronzer, eyebrows, lip liner. There's literally something for everyone and for everything. So yeah, Made by Mitchell, it truly is made for everyone. And I wouldn't actually create a product if it wouldn't work for everyone.
And one last one, Mitchell, after all of these amazing things that you've achieved in such a short time, what is next? What are the next things we can look out for, and what are you most excited about in the coming months and years?
Well. I can't say too much, but we are actually world domination. That's what I want to say. We're launching in America and in Australia, which are two territories that I've always wanted to be a part of. And yeah, that's what I'm most excited for. There's so much coming this year, and I think next year is just going to be even crazier. But this year is a really monumental time for Made by Mitchell, as not just a company, but also as a community. And for those that are involved in our community, there's going to be so many things happening. I can't wait.